All right, guys, at this time, I would like to welcome back a good friend of mine, Landon Quin, who was supposed to be fighting on this last Tuesday's Contender Series, but unfortunately came down with COVID. He was supposed to originally fight Shaheen Santana, who ended up fighting Nathan Levy. Levy ended up winning the Landon's contract, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Landon, brother, I know you're still dealing with everything right now. How you feeling?
Uh, it could be better. I was a little sad before, tripping out, feeling sorry for myself, moping around. Now I'm in pretty good spirits, just waiting for the next move, waiting to get this negative test, hopefully on Tuesday, and keep the ball rolling and get ready to go on a killing spree because I'm more hungry than ever and I need my contract. I felt the process of fight week for the UFC, and I will settle for nothing less. There's nowhere else I belong, and I want smoke. That's all I gotta say.
You and we talked about your whole progression, going through this whole event, going through everything that fight week had for you. What was the most spectacular part of the whole fight week, obviously, besides the negative test?
Man, the moment for me was when I was at the Apex for my pre-shoots. It was on the 2nd of November. I ain't gonna forget that day. I actually got in trouble. I walked into the arena. It was after the Anderson Silva fight. I got to walk into the octagon and feel the canvas and feel the cage and see the blood from the night before, and it was kind of surreal, man, because I got to feel the atmosphere of the octagon of the Apex, and the energy felt like any other venue, and that moment taught me in my mind that I'm made for this moment, and I can fight on any stage in the world because this is the biggest of all of them, and this is where I belong. So that was for me one of the biggest moments of my life, if you ask me.
No, for sure, and it's definitely somewhere that you belong. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's a situation that you can't really control. COVID happened, but it seems like you're in the best of spirits that you can be right now, and I feel like you have a plan for the future already.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the UFC has all my medicals. They have a lot of film on me from the Contender Series, from the pre-shoots that I was doing. The staff likes me. I went through the whole process. They're pretty cool people. They know my name. I realistically feel like they know that I needed that opportunity, and I wanted ready. I was there. I was disciplined. So I'm sure my name is bumped very high on the short notice list. So I feel like I'm gonna, as soon as this COVID test is negative, I'm gonna get my weight down. I'm gonna get back to full swing of training right away. I don't really care about the holidays anymore after dealing with what I dealt with. I don't want to enjoy the holidays. I don't want to party. I don't want to do anything. I just want to train. I want to get back to work and hopefully get a short notice call, or take one more fight and put on a spectacular performance and tell Dana White, Sean Shelby to hit my line.
Exactly, and I feel like it's definitely well deserved. With your whole situation with the COVID, how long do you think it's going to be till you're able to get back in training?
Hopefully, I can do it toward the end of next week or middle of next week. I cannot get tested until Tuesday because that'll be the 10-day period. I believe I was probably positive a day before I actually got tested at the hotel, at the Fire Hotel. Because before I went to Vegas, they tested me on Zoom. I was negative. They tested me when I got to Vegas and checked into the first hotel for the pre-shoots. I was negative, and then they tested me when I checked into the other hotel next door, the residence, for the actual fight week for Contender, and that's the one that made me positive. I was on a Friday, so I believe I was positive the day before, but I'm gonna wait at least 10 days. So Tuesday would be the day I get tested. The facility I go to, Dynamic Wellness, that does testing here, they have next day testing, so I'll know within 24 hours. So hopefully, as soon as that test is negative, I'm right back to work, man. Right back to work. So ASAP, as soon as possible. I've already been kind of doing home workouts and stuff, but I might ease up on that because the COVID does have me feeling a little tired. I'm not sick or anything, but it does make me sleepy. It makes me a little fatigued. So I think it's more important to rest my body. That way I can kick this thing quicker. So we'll see what happens. Depends how I feel.
For sure, and just to mind, it's not like Landon was going out on the Las Vegas Strip. It's not like he was messing around. He was literally in Vegas just training. He went to the boxing gym. He went to a grappling gym. He was at his hotel. He was
Yeah.
doing everything that he was supposed to do to be prepared for this opportunity.
Yeah, the thing is, I actually went to two places and I stayed there, and then I would go to the gym downstairs to the hotel. I would run around the hotel. I literally stayed in the same vicinity. Even my team went to the Vegas Strip over on one night to sightsee, to walk around, and I stayed home and I did an hour on the treadmill. I didn't do anything that I wasn't supposed to. I stayed home. I stayed back. I didn't do anything out of line. I wasn't around a lot of people. I wasn't disrespecting the UFC. I wasn't disrespecting my coaches. I was out there putting in work, ready to put on the performance of a lifetime. And unfortunately, both my coaches tested negative, and I tested positive. So it is what it is. It's pretty ridiculous. All three of my cornermen. I had my training partner Yoansi there with me. I had Awesome with me, and then I had Coach Roger Crawl with me, and they all tested negative, and I was the only one that tested positive. And, and because they all tested negative, we did a retest to see if it was a false positive. So
it was a crazy 12 hours there. I mean, you and I talked Saturday night, and you were like, bad news, and I was like, fuck. You said, hey, I tested positive, and we were just optimistic at that point. Maybe it was a false negative. It's a retest. So they tested all your cornermen. Every single one of them came back negative, and then they retested you again in the morning. That's when, unfortunately, it came back again positive. And then at that point, how was everything going through in your mind?
Man, I broke down, man. I was so broken that I didn't, when you're just so upset, you don't know whether you can cry, you don't know whether you can be upset, you don't know, you're just kind of blank. I was kind of just blank. I broke down. I just sat there and I'm just this can't be real. It's I'm in a bad dream. I'm sitting there and I'm just so disappointed. I know right now I'm not the first fighter this has happened to. It even happened to Gilbert when he was going to fight Kamaru. It happened to Gilbert. It's happened to other fighters that have been in similar situations to me. And it was tough to deal with, man. It was a hard pill to swallow. But I don't know. I just remember depressed eating in the hotel. You know what I mean? My team was very quick to leave me. Not because they wanted to leave me, but because if I'm positive, they have to get out of the room. You know what I mean? They can't have a risk of the UFC seeing they're around me and them possibly not being allowed to travel. They need to go back to work. They need to go back to the gyms. Going on. They're still negative. It was they were doing anything crazy. But it was just sad, man. I spent a few hours in that hotel just alone, just reflecting, and it was horrible. It was horrible. I was thinking I was going to be there for the next 10 days. Luckily, the UFC gives you the option to figure out your own thing. So I had my team, which was very kind enough to buy a ticket for me to go home. Even though it might not have been wise, I don't know how anyone else feels, but I don't think you would want to stay by yourself going through this tragedy, in your own thoughts going crazy. In another state alone by yourself with no one around you. You know what I mean? It's tough. And no money. You know what I mean? I didn't get my show money because I didn't weigh in. So it was tough, man. It was a real tough situation. And I'm just happy that I've hit that first hump, I'm just ready to keep going.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a little setback for a major comeback.
Exactly.
You look like you're in phenomenal shape too. You and I talked about this earlier. I mean, you were going. How quickly could you take a short notice fight? Are we talking 2-3 days, or would you at least need about a week?
Well, right now, I don't want to do it. We actually have the option of taking a fight on Titan FC in Dominican Republic next weekend. I like the opponent, I like the matchup, but my health comes first. So right now, I don't know how COVID is going to affect my body. Usually what we do before we take a short notice fight or anything is do a sparring session to see where the gas is at. Right now, I don't know what it's going to do for me long term. I know it can affect your heart, it can affect your brain. It's already affected my nerves due to the fact that I can't taste or smell. So I don't know how it's going to affect my gas when I go on to full training. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's smart to do. I think it's smart to get a negative test, take it easy, take my time. I know I'll have the antibodies once the virus is gone for at least 3 months. So I'll be able to get back to the full swing of training, make sure my health is good, get my weight down. And I believe once I get back to the full swing of training, I just need about a month and a half, and I'll be good to go.
Ready to go.
6 weeks,
have you talked?
Back in shape.
Obviously, you've already talked to Titan. They try to get you on the card following after that. What do they have in the future, though? Do they have anything December? Obviously, November's a little too close.
They do have a December 18th card, but right now, since I won't be cleared until probably Tuesday, I won't be able to get a full training camp. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling. I'm not going to be training too much in the next week and a half because of obviously what's going on. So I don't know what's going to happen, man. I don't know where we're going to be at. I just got to wait for to make any decisions or make anything happen. But
now, are you?
I will be back. I will be back by the end of the year or early next year for sure.
Are you under contract with Titan?
I don't want to say I'm under contract with Titan, but I am committed to Titan. I've never signed a multi-fight deal with them, but I've been committed to Titan for a while, and we kind of just go by word. You know what I mean? My coach has been very, very in tune with them. Roger Claus has been Lex's coach for his fight as well.
Yeah.
So I've been committed to Titan for pretty much my whole career. I never really needed a contract to keep me with them.
It's a great organization.
Huh?
It's a great organization.
Yeah, for sure. If I needed to fight elsewhere, I'm sure I can talk to Lex and go do what I need to do if I really needed to. But they've taken care of me, and I've been there for a long time, and I'm very happy with the organization. So I have no problem fighting for them right now. If a different date makes sense, you could maybe see me fight for LFA. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Right now, the future isn't clear. I left to fight for Titan to go fight for Contender. I'm sure I'll go back to Titan, but right now I'm just playing it by ear, just waiting it one day at a time.
Yeah, for all we know, your very next fight could be in the UFC.
Exactly. I have no idea. We just gotta see what's happening. Get ready, pay attention to the cards coming up. Get my weight down, make sure I'm back in tip top shape, eat clean, do my thing, and that's it.
Now, Tuesday, you watched the fights, correct?
Yes, I did.
Now, how did you feel when you watched Shaheen and Nathan fight?
Man, I had a breakdown, man. I think I literally cried in my room, quarantined. I watched both of them. I wasn't impressed with either of them. Shaheen, one, looked broken before, like the second he got in the cage. I know Shaheen's a good dude. We have mutual friends. I know he has a family. He has a lot to fight for. But I could see that the moment got to him, first of all, and second of all, I just knew my skill set was greater, and I watched the fight, and obviously, if you watch the fight, that I proved that. He also fought a guy that in Nathan Levi who wasn't really. He's a good fighter, good grappler, good striker, but he's not. I didn't think he was that impressive either. I think Shaheen made him look a lot more impressive than he really was. But the fact that you're taking a fight up a weight class on 2 days' notice, to me, is impressive enough to get a contract. So I do believe he deserved the contract. I don't feel like he put on the greatest performance he could have. I feel like I could have put on a way better show. I feel like if I would have fought, and I feel like Florida would have exploded if I won that fight. So, right now it's kind of heartbreaking watching that fight because I know that right now I will be in the UFC. I should be on that roster right now, and but I can't really say that because I didn't get to fight. I didn't even get to weigh in. So, what is my opinion until I actually get the job done? So. That is how I felt. I was pretty heartbroken, but it is what it is, man. Congratulations to Nate Levi, and hopefully Shaheen will be back. I like him as a person, so yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some other guys too who are coming up in the Contender Series here, and I believe next week. I believe Sherrard Blackledge. He's a lightweight. He's also fighting. Are these all guys that? Are these all guys that you're keeping an eye on?
Well, I was gonna fight Tucker Lutz. They called me to fight Tucker Lutz. When I had staph, I was 20 days on antibiotics. I had staph. I was literally shitting blood, and I was 184 pounds on 10 days notice, and I still said yes to the fight. I said yes to the fight, and apparently his manager said no to fighting me. Same manager who manages Muhammad Naimov, Brian Butler. So I was down to fight, man. When the big boss calls, you don't say no. So I was ready to go. I was there. I was gonna show up. But the fight fell through, and they decided to find another opponent. He ended up winning that fight and didn't get a contract, so now he's back. So I'm not really impressed with him either, man. I think I smashed that dude. I think he's padded as fuck, and I watch him, and I think I beat his ass. But it is what it is, man. Like, all power to both of them, man. I hope one of them gets a contract. It's both their second stint on the Contender. I'll be keeping an eye out, though, man. I'm keeping an eye out for all these lightweights, man. I'm ready to go on a killing spree, so I'm bloodthirsty right now. Anybody can get it.
Now, when you were at the Apex and everything, and you were training there, it definitely seemed like it was a place where you belong, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I felt very in place. I felt like this is where I needed to be. I didn't feel nervous. I didn't feel out of place. I didn't feel like the moment was getting to me. I felt ready to go, and I felt like it was is where I needed to be. I felt like I was in exactly where the universe planned me. Or exactly where I needed to be.
Kind of put into words, if you can, what was going through your body when you actually finally stepped onto that octagon.
Man, I felt like I was at home. It was kind of surreal that I finally got to do it, but I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt like this is where I've been here before. Doesn't feel any different. Like, everyone talks about octagon jitters, and everyone talks about pre-fight jitters and the big show, the big lights, and I'm like, I love the lights. I feel like it's where I shine. I feel like I shine the brightest. I'm the kind of fighter. I'm not a gym fighter. When I go fight, I fight better than I do in the gym, and I feel like I always rise to the occasion. So I felt like it was exactly where I needed to be.
Yeah, and then you haven't, had like you talked about this on your Contender Series pre-fight interviews. You haven't had the most decorated career, and this was kind of your moment right here. Kind of
Yeah.
walk us through your whole amateur career and everything. And there were situations where your record was almost 500, correct?
Yeah, I finished 500 as an amateur. I didn't, you know what I mean? It was below 500. I remember my first fight I had, I did really well. I got a TKO on a guy. But obviously, in the amateurs, within your first two fights, you're not very skilled. Your opponents aren't very skilled. I won my first one, lost my second one, lost my third one. I had a guy that was on my back the whole fight. You know, I mean, I felt like I got a lot of takedowns, but I really had no jiu-jitsu. I wasn't comfortable in the cage yet, you know. And I put a lot of time into this. I was training 5 days a week, twice a day. You know what I mean? I still was losing. You know, and it made me question myself. Took about 6 months off, won two in a row. Then I lost 2 in a row. And when you commit so much time here, like people are blowing you, gassing up your head, thinking you're elite, and then all of a sudden you know what I mean? You're not working on the things you need to work on. You're over here full of ego. You know, you're not practicing your weaknesses. You kind of want to do your own thing. You don't want to be coached. And that's kind of where I was at, man. I had to learn, really, really humble myself and understand that I'm not the baddest dude around, man, and that there's always a lot of work to do no matter what level you're at. So it was very hard, especially as I said in my interview, that if you put a lot of time into something and you're not good at it, why are you doing it? You know what I mean? Especially when you could be working, you could be making money, you could be pursuing a career, you could be going to school, you could be doing all this stuff. So if you're committing all this time and you love it so much, you got to humble yourself and do the things you don't want to do and get comfortable being uncomfortable. So eventually I did that, and I was able to turn it around, and I've become a lot better pro than I was an amateur. So and I feel like with the mindset I have now, the sky's the limit. I'll continue to improve. I'll continue to get better, and it'll get to the point to where I'm almost unbeatable, man. I mean, every man can lose, but if you keep working, you stay up to date, and you stay on it, and you stay in the gym, and you keep improving your skills in every aspect, then you're gonna be a hard motherfucker to beat. So
Exactly. And I really think that going through everything you went to kind of speaks to your hard work.
mm-hmm.
It's crazy to think, what was the moment to you where it kind of felt like the switch kind of turned and you were like, you know what, I could do this.
Man, I felt like I could do it honestly as soon as I had my first fight. But what really changed my mindset, I'm like, I need to tighten up and really have some self-reflection. I actually talked to this guy. He's a buddy of mine now, Devin Dorsey. I fought this guy as an amateur. He should be a pro. He's got like a hella amateur fights. I don't know why he's not a pro yet. He works regular jobs and shit. I don't know. He was a good fighter, man. And he's like 16 and like 6 or something like that, or 8 as an amateur. Dude's got a lot of amateur fights for MMA fighter. You know, boxing that's a different story. Boxing, we have hundreds of fights, but amateur MMA, that's a lot of fucking fights. So yeah. So he beat me by split decision to fight. I still believe I won, but when you watch the fight, there's plenty of things I could have done to leave questions out of it. You know, it's kind of like when you see Masvidal talk about the resurrection. You know what I mean? Like he never won a split decision. Every split decision that he had was always a loss. Even fights that you believe he got robbed that he won. And realistically, you don't need to leave it to no judges. You know what I mean? You don't need there's no choice. You don't have to give them a choice. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're trying to finish the whole fight, then you're never gonna lose a decision. You know what I mean? So that kind of changed the way I fight. It changed my style. I used to run around the cage a lot. I used to try and point fight. I used to try and not get hit so much. Now I bite down. I don't give a fuck, and I go forward nonstop, and I put pressure on my opponents. And it really changed the way I fight. You know, I took about a year off after that fight. Came back, started training with the pro team of Coconut Creek. Fought my last amateur fight. Starts the dude in like the first minute and a half. And then turned pro, and then I had a draw, and then I won 2 fights, lost to Naimov, and I haven't lost since. So it really put me on the right track and got me in the right mindset. And that was the day that I clicked, and I realized that I needed to make a change. So it helped a lot.
I've talked to a lot of fighters, professional fighters, and they always talk about, a lot of people don't realize that you're just pretty much going through college during your amateur career, and your career really doesn't start until you're a pro.
No,
and I feel like you're the perfect example of that.
Yeah, free experience. Amateurs are free experience. That's why I tell these guys, especially like at Goat Shed, like I train at Sanford and I train at Goat Shed Academy in Miami. So in Miami, you have a lot of amateurs. You know, I go there more for knowledge, not so much for bodies, because I feel like I'm a higher level than a lot of those guys. You know, I have some guys there that can push me, like my boy Yuan's. He's a Division I All-American wrestler. We got Richie Lewis, who's a world champion wrestler. We got my boy Angel, who's a 10-time national judo champion. We have some guys there that can push me, but for the majority, a lot of the guys in there are amateurs. So a lot of these guys here, they're all nervous about their fight. They're all like, you know what I mean? They all want full camps for amateur fights. I'm like, dude, when you're an amateur, you should fight whenever you can get it. When I was an amateur, any opponent, I've had tougher fights as an amateur than I have as a pro. Any fight as an amateur they would offer me, I would take it. I'd say yes. Oh, 2 weeks? Yes. Next weekend? Yes. You know what I mean? Every single fight. Oh, upper weight class? Let's go. You have to get that experience. You have to face adversity. You have to know what it's like to be uncomfortable. You have to understand how you like to warm up. You got to understand that what you like to what clothes you like to wear. You got to understand what glove size you have to wear. You got to go through like the moments of like when the fights go by fast and you don't get to warm up. Like you got to understand how to push through all those moments. You have to learn how to be a fighter and like what works for you. You know what I mean? And being an amateur is what will do that. You know what I mean? It's very hard to just turn pro unless you have some ridiculous background, like if you're the Russians with 200 sambo fights, or if you're a wrestler with 1 million tournaments. You know what I mean? Like that's different. But if you're an amateur just coming up in the MMA circuit, like you should take as many fights as you can get. Now, having only 8 amateur fights, I look back and wish I had fought more. You get what I mean? So yeah, it's free experience. It's like college.
Exactly, 100%. Now, like I said, your hard work and dedication is definitely going to pay off for you. I thought it was going to last Tuesday, but that obviously wasn't the plan. And I feel like you're destined for bigger things at this point.
Mm-hmm. I've been through this, man. I've been through this. I've been through adversity. I've been through problems. When life seems great and something just comes down, crashing down on you, I've been through that. You know what I mean? Whether it's been in fighting, whether it's been with my family, whether it's been with jobs, like I've been through that, man. And it's not unfamiliar territory. And just like anything in life, I'll always get through it. You know, I won't be broken.
So what's the plan for the next couple of days? You're going to watch the fights here coming up?
Oh, for sure.
You got Paul Felder stepping up on short notice, man.
Oh, man, what a fight, dude. I love that fight.
Dude, Paul Felder is a ballsy motherfucker.
But people are tripping about, I think Dos Anjos could be the champ, bro. Like, again, you know, if you look at it, like, who's a more well-rounded fighter in the division than Dos Anjos? Name one. More well-rounded. Like, he's a great striker. He's a great wrestler for a Brazilian. He's got great jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? He's got great strike. What is he not good at? Like,
I think anybody, if we're talking about welterweights, I think Gilbert.
No, welterweight. I'm talking about 55. This fight's a 55.
He's doing there at 50? Okay, so completely well-rounded at 55. Damn. Well, Nate's wrestling isn't there.
Nate's wrestling's ass.
Connor's got no cardio or ground game.
Connor's got ground game, but it's not as good as Dos Anjos.
Yeah. And Khabib, I mean, he gets people with his standing because he can grapple.
Yeah, but Khabib will beat him. Khabib already beat him. But he's gone, though. Like, Khabib's gone. He's retired. So what's up?
What? Okay, so he's maybe not as well-rounded. What about somebody like a Charles Oliveira?
I think he doesn't submit Dos Anjos. I think Dos Anjos can submit him. Charles Oliveira's been submitted. He's been knocked out. I think Dos Anjos is better than him everywhere.
It's a good fight. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you re-put him back in that 55-pound.
Yeah, man. But Oliveira's a beast. Like, I will never count him out. I think he's easily a top 10 guy, and he needs tougher fights or better guys. But bro, I think Dos Anjos is the most well-rounded fighter in that division. I think he's super dangerous, especially right now. You know what I mean? I think, like, Paul Felder's really good and shit, but I don't think he wins, man. Not because I don't like him, because I'd be a guy to be cheering for Paul Felder. I like Paul Felder.
Yeah.
But I'll show notice against a guy like RDA, and you don't even know how good a shape Paul Felder's in. You don't know how hard his weight cut's gonna be. You know, like those things play a factor. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm definitely gonna be watching them. That's for sure.
Yeah. And what's his weight at? Like, was he training every day? Well, I mean, he's been in the booth a lot.
I don't know. He trains out. But I looked at his IG once he took that fight, and I see like he's doing a lot of like swimming workouts, and he's doing a lot of high endurance stuff to kind of like keep himself in shape and just do something new outside of fighting. So he seems like he's in shape. I'm sure he's been training if he took a fight, but I mean, I doubt he's been like a camp, you know?
Right.
I doubt he's been training for Rafael Dos Anjos. Like, he's been training for a short notice fight. He just said, fuck it. Like, this is a good opportunity. I'm going to get paid a lot of money, and I think if I win, it pushes me up, so why not? So I don't blame him for it. I think it's a good decision, but it's going to be a fucking tough-ass war, or he might get gassed out, and you don't want to get gassed out against RDA. RDA don't get tired.
No,
That
he'll
boy does
crumple
not get
you,
tired.
and he'll push you and push you and push you. That's the thing about RDA.
Bro, I watched him fight Kevin Lee the other day. I was watching that fight, and like Kevin Lee like breaks mentally when he gets tired, but
Yes.
like but bro, like he broke mentally late. He was pushing Dos Anjos, and Dos Anjos pushed him to the fourth and looked fresh. You watch him fight Pettis, like the pace he put on Pettis, like when Pettis was on juice. You know what I mean?
Huge favorite.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Put pressure on that boy. You know, he was amazing. So I don't know. Good fight
It's
for
your
him.
division. Are these guys that you're kind of sizing up on the side as well?
All the time. I'm always watching these guys. I feel like one thing I need is to put on a little more size and athleticism. I feel like I've developed that for 55 now, but at that level, that's the highest level. You know what I mean? So I just need to continue to develop myself. I feel skill for skill wise, I train with some of the best guys in the world already. So I'm not really worried when the time comes, but those are definitely guys to pay attention to. I like to study a lot, like any other fighter. I'm a fan of the sport as well, so I'm not really necessarily looking at them like targets yet. But it wouldn't surprise me if in the near future I end up there. You know, this sport has a quick rise. When you get to the UFC, you win 3 fights, they give you a top 10 guy, top 15 guy, you're right there. So we'll see what happens. You know.
Well, I mean, you've seen guys like Alexander Hernandez who stepped in and fought a top 15 guy right away.
Yeah, Izzy.
Yeah,
Izzy
Izzy,
fought
same
2 fights
thing.
and was already almost fighting for the title. So
It's an interesting landscape, especially if Dana sees how much following you have. Especially you have a lot of following. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like Florida is really excited about what you put on.
yeah, facts. I'm happy I developed that because being a hometown boy, I want to show people that are from here that it doesn't matter where you're from, that you can do it and put your mind to it. You know what I mean? I'm not there yet. I don't claim to be there yet, but I think I'm on the right path, and I think I'm doing the right things to get to where that point is. So it makes me happy that people in Florida know who I am and can look up to me. I've been getting a lot of messages of people being inspired, so that helps. That makes me feel real good about what I'm doing. It kind of helps me when I'm this discouraged to come up. That it gives me more motivation. I do this for myself ultimately, but it gives me just more motivation to help other people and inspire others. So it's a big feather in my cap.
The thing too is there's a short list of guys who they're gonna call, probably about six, that they have ready for 155 pounds. You have to be on that list.
I believe so. I don't see why I wouldn't be right now.
And like I said, you just like you've been saying, get this negative test, get back in the gym, stay ready. When the time comes, the lone wolf is going to take his step into the octagon.
That's it. You know what it is. I belong there, man. And when I go in there, I'm not gonna feel nervous. I'm not gonna act like I'm blessed. It's inevitable. So I'm not gonna come in here sitting here doing my little prayers and acting like I'm so like happy and like I'm about to cry stepping into the cage. That's bullshit. Nah, because this is where I should have been the whole time. So watch, you gonna see. It's gonna happen.
No, I fully believe that, man. I've been thankful enough to be able to watch this rise of yours, and I know that's where you belong, and I can't wait to finally see it come to fruition.
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. You've been following me since the beginning, so it's pretty cool. You're probably the first media. You're probably like the first media guy I've ever had ever had interviews with. You know what I mean? I never really had interviews with people like that. Now I have a lot of people asking me now, but this one you're probably the first in the OG. So when we're at the top, you'll still be there. So it's cool.
Oh
It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's right. You guys hear that, Ariel Hawani? All you guys,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
here
yeah, yeah,
first.
yeah. Listen up. Listen up. Listen
I've been
up.
telling you guys, watch this kid, and here he comes.
It's coming. It's coming. Fuck COVID.
Right?
For
Fuck
real, fuck
COVID.
COVID. I agree.
Well, on that note, my brother, I will let you finish up your quarantine and hang
Yeah.
out, relax. I
I ain't
want
doing
to,
shit, so hit
right?
me up.
I want to give you an opportunity to give shout out to your teammates, your loved ones, anyone that's really helped you along your MMA journey.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to my family, my cousins that have helped me out through a hard time. Ricardo, Armando, Christina, my mother, my aunt, my uncle. Also, big shout out to my sponsors, Mushin Store, the Gocha Academy, Sanford MMA, ATT Sunrise, Coach Roger Crawl, Coach Asim Zaidi, Coach G Jones, Henry Hoof, my boy Jared Gordon for helping me train in Vegas, my boy Yoansi Valdez, Ryan Coos, Third Street Savage, is fighting for a title in the Dominican Republic on the 21st for Fighting Force. Don't miss that. Creating Better Day CBD, mainstream cultivation, pyramid pool services. I don't believe I'm forgetting anyone. I haven't been with my boxing coach for too long right now because I've been out of transportation and going through a hard time. So Brandon Lewis as well. We're going to get through this, man. So thank you guys.
Hey, where can the fans find you on social media, man?
Find me on Instagram. I don't use Twitter yet until the UFC starts making me use Twitter. But you can get me at Lone Wolf __ 145. That's 2 underscores. I would change it to 155, but a troll took the name from me just to mess with me. So it is what it is. But at Lone Wolf __ 145. Holla at your boy.
Someone on Instagram get my boy the 155 name.
Yeah. IG support. I'm putting the ticket today.
We ain't got nothing else to do.
Yes, sir. I got nothing better to do.
All right, my brother. I appreciate your time today. I can't wait to watch you get back in the cage. I know there's bright things on your horizon. And like I said, man, the future is yours.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
You too, brother. Have a good one.